Orcas don't just hunt, they calculate. They can detect prey in complete darkness. Their power comes from more than just speed. And beneath the surface, their bodies are built for the deep. On a plate of Antarctic pack ice, a Weddell seal rests in what looks like safety. Beneath the surface, that safety is already being tested. 5, 6, 7 dorsal fins cut toward the floe in a loose line, not scattered, but converging. The whales slow and fall into position side by side, facing the same direction. Then they surge forward together, and a wall of water rises. Ahead of them, aimed straight at the ice. How do you catch prey that is already out of the water? The wave reaches the edge of the floe. To reach this moment, the hunters first had to find their prey. What follows draws on patterns recorded across many hunts of this kind, not one continuously filmed encounter. Pack ice hides more than it reveals. A seal hauled out on a floe can be difficult to locate from water level. Periodically, a whale rises vertically and brings an eye above the surface. The behavior is called spy hopping, and it gives the animal a view across the ice that is impossible from below. This is not one whale working alone. Pack ice killer whales travel and hunt in social groups. During documented searches, individuals and mother-calf pairs spread through the ice before the group converged around a potential target. Once a seal is located, the movement changes. Fins begin closing on the same point from different directions. The pace may still look calm, but the search has narrowed to one floe. The ice itself now becomes part of the problem. A low edge can flood or tilt more readily than a high, thick platform. A seal close to open water is more exposed, while one that reaches the center may survive the first wash. Every approach changes that geometry. The floe can rotate, the seal can move. An edge that was dry can settle lower after a wave. The whales gather, inspect the platform, and begin to align. Finding the seal was only the first step. Now they have to remove the only protection it has. The first wave breaks against the ice and the floe tips. Water sheets across the surface. The seal scrambles toward the center, claws for grip, and holds. The tilt was not enough to send it into the sea. Below, the line breaks apart. The whales turn away, circle back, and begin to reposition. It did not work. Not this time. But the group does not leave. The failed pass has changed the flow, changed the seal's position, and created a new problem to solve. What just happened matches A. Pattern field researchers spent months documenting. During 75.4 hours of observation, scientists followed 3 separate groups of Antarctic pack ice killer whales as they approached seals, formed up, and generated waves against the ice. Across those observations, The researchers recorded 22 attacks and 100 waves. That is more than 5 waves per attack across the full set. Although the number varied widely from one encounter to another, the whales did not simply repeat the same run. Documented sequences included retreating from the floe, turning back toward it, accelerating together, abandoning ineffective approaches, and returning from a different direction. Another swell reaches the platform. It rocks the ice but fails to clear it. The seal moves again, putting more distance between its body and the nearest edge. A failed wave has not ended the hunt. It has altered the next attempt. This is where observation must be separated from interpretation. Researchers can record alignment, timing, retreat, acceleration, and adjustment. Those actions support a strong case for coordination. They cannot reveal exactly what any individual whale understands or intends. The visible behavior is remarkable without mind reading. In this study, 12 of 14 documented seal kills from ice floes involved cooperative wave washing. The method worked often, but not automatically, and the failures are part of what makes the sequence adaptive. Below the floe, the spacing changes again. The next approach will not follow the same line. This time, the whales spread across the open water, holding a broad line as they turn toward the target. Their speed rises together. No single animal needs to overpower the ice. The group only has to move enough water at the same moment. As the line accelerates, the surface ahead of it begins to lift. Several smaller disturbances join into one advancing swell. The whales dive as the wave reaches the floe, passing beneath the ice, while the water climbs over it. The platform rolls. For a moment, the seal disappears behind white water. Then it reappears, still on the floe. It has survived another pass, but the ice is no longer sitting as it did before. One side rides lower. The seal has less dry space, and the whales are already turning in open water. This is the rhythm documented across longer attacks: approach, wave, reaction, retreat, adjustment. Successful encounters in the study averaged 4.1 waves and 30.4 minutes, but the range was broad. Some required 1 wave, others required as many as 10. The longest successful sequence lasted more than an hour. The next run begins from farther out. The line tightens. Tails drive downward in close succession, and the swell builds higher as it crosses the final distance. This time, the water covers the floe. The seal loses its grip and enters the sea. But even that does not guarantee the outcome. During documented attacks, some seals manage to climb back onto the same ice after being washed off, forcing the whales to begin again. The distinctive advantage was created before the seal touched the water. This is not a long pursuit across open ocean. It is a barrier being tested, altered, and finally removed by repeated coordinated action. For this sequence, the ice no longer offers a clear route back. The pod closes the short distance beneath the surface, and the immediate encounter is resolved without showing graphic contact. Not every recorded hunt ended that way. Some floes never gave the whales a workable angle. Some seals held the center through repeated waves. Other attacks were abandoned after the target returned to safety, or the conditions stopped favoring another pass. The record also revealed an unexpected pattern in prey selection. Crab-eater seals represented about 82% of the seals identified on surveyed floes, while Weddell seals represented only about 15%. Yet 14 of 15 identified seal kills were Weddell seals. The whales did attack other species. In several observed encounters, crab-eater or leopard seals were washed into the water, closely approached, and then left without visible injury. The researchers suggested the whales may not always have identified the species before the wash. That explanation is an interpretation, but the difference in what happened afterward was directly observed. So this technique is not simply a machine that turns every seal into prey. Target species, flow shape, position on the ice, and the result of each previous wave all affect what happens next. That uncertainty keeps the hunt from becoming a formula. The same movements can produce a clean wash, a near miss, or no useful result at all. Coordination improves the whale's chances. It does not remove the seal's chance to escape. These hunts are witnessed by more than the adults generating the wave. Calves remain in close association with their mothers and family groups for years, giving them repeated exposure to searches, approaches, failed passes, and successful washes. That does not prove deliberate teaching. No observation can show an adult explaining a role or a calf understanding a lesson. What can be documented is prolonged access to the behavior, repeated across a long period of dependency. That matters because wave washing is not a universal killer whale method. Different populations specialize in different prey and different environments. Some coordinate around schools of fish. Others approach pinnipeds near beaches, using surf and shoreline, rather than pack ice. The animals are the same species, but the hunting traditions are not interchangeable. In Antarctic pack ice, the obstacle is a platform the whales cannot climb. Their solution is built around the properties of that platform: its height, its edges, its movement, and the seal's position upon it. Repeated exposure offers a plausible pathway for such specialized behavior to persist across generations, but the mechanism remains uncertain. The strongest claim is also the most honest one. Calves grow up where these hunts happen, surrounded by experienced animals, performing them again and again. Every attack is therefore more than a test of the seal and the ice. It is also part of the social environment in which the next generation develops. At the beginning, the seal appeared to have solved the problem of predation by leaving the water. Across the hunt, that apparent safety was reduced, one wave at a time. First came the search, then convergence, alignment, retreat, a synchronized turn, a failed pass, a different angle. None of those steps alone proves a private plan inside a whale's mind. Together, they form a repeatable sequence that can be observed, measured, and compared. Across 3 groups and more than 75 hours, the pattern was not one lucky maneuver captured once. It appeared across 22 attacks, with variation from one attempt to the next, and adjustment after failure. That is why speed is not the central advantage here. The seal does not begin in open water, and the whales cannot simply chase it. They first have to change the environment around it. The floe is inspected as an obstacle. Water becomes the tool. The group supplies the force, and every failed wave produces new information in the form of a different edge, a different position, and a different opportunity. We cannot know what planning feels like to a killer whale. We can know what coordinated preparation looks like from the outside. It looks like several animals spreading through broken ice. It looks like fins converging on one floe. It looks like a line turning in open water and accelerating together. And it looks like a place that seemed safe becoming open sea. This predator does not need to begin with a chase. It begins by turning the ice into water.